Hey folks, it's Charlie here with another Charlie in the Rain interview where I sit down with Aussie acts that I've been like obsessed with lately and listening to so much. The artist I'm joined here today is based in Gadigal, Sydney land and has just released a debut EP that I've had on repeat through all my study sessions. It's just got this like real groove to it. I am obsessed. I'm joined here today by Miss Thandi. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to chat. I love a good debut EP moment, and I am obsessed with yours. But first off, would you like to like introduce yourself just in case anyone's coming across you now with the release of this EP and they're like, I need to know more?
Yes, my name is Miss Thandi, based in Sydney. Yeah, I'm an R&B artist, but I have so many influences like soul music. I've had some house tracks. I've, put in a bit of Afro beats on the piano. Um, yeah, big music lover. I feel like my influences like from Janet Jackson uh, to like Sade, Amy Winehouse, Alicia Keys, all over the place. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I've heard you speak about these influences before. I'm like, I love it so much. I can see like the connections in some of your songs or like the sonic influences. I love it. But we're having a chat today about your debut EP. It came out a few weeks ago now, so it's been rattling around. People have been listening and adopting these tracks as their favorites. But before we get into the tracks, I'd love to just talk about the title. Your debut EP is called Soft Like Fire, which is one of those titles that it just jumps out, like it stops you in your tracks. You're like, okay, I need to know more here. Can you unpack a little bit about what Soft Like Fire means to you? Because it's so poetic.
Yes. Well, it's a paradox, for sure. I feel like I wanted to kind of make a statement about like concepts of femininity, and I feel like there's this like idea that femininity is always supposed to be like something soft, something like passive, like accommodating. And I kind of wanted to subvert that and say, that's what it is to love a woman is so much more than that. It's not always going to be like, oh, like gentle, soft. Like, there's a really big range of emotions that comes along with being alive. And like rage is important, and like anxiety is a part of the journey, and all of these sorts of um, emotions. And I feel like even for myself, I've often had times where like I feel like I'm being too much, or I'm too intense, or whatever. So it really isn't just about that kind of self-acceptance. And I wanted to use like the imagery of fire, like when you watch like a fire burn, it almost does look soft. It's like dancing, it's flickering, it's playful, but obviously we know that fire can burn. You don't play with fire. So and I feel like I'm a very passionate, fiery person. So the I feel like the name of the project was really just trying to make a statement about that, and also just like a movement. The whole project thing is just like a movement of self acceptance.
Yeah, I love it so much because it really makes you stop and think, be like, fire is something that is quite delicate. Like the way it spreads, the way you like even just seeing like a piece of paper catch on fire, it's gorgeous. Like it's not good, but it's a really gorgeous act. And to like think of that through the lens of femininity and intersectionality, it's like, wow, okay, you're really like onto this whole bigger image thing here. But also, I don't even know if this was a conscious choice. This EP was released in Aries season, which is a fire sign. And I'm like, I love that. It just adds so much more to this world.
Literally, I'm a bit into astrology. I don't know everything, but I was learning about the alignment of the planets on the day that I released this project, and even things in my own chart, like that, those contradictions, like the soft and the fire, like it really was meant to be.
I love it. Again, I'm like, I'm not very well versed in all things astrology, but when something lines up, I'm like, yes, it happened how it was supposed to. I love it. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. And this EP, we've got 6 tracks here. I love it because you can listen to a lot of them like standalone. You can add them to your playlist or just like when you're feeling like it, just dabble in. But it's also such a great project to just like start to finish listen through. Can I ask you how you would recommend is the like ideal listening experience for Soft Like Fire? Like where are we? What are we doing to best get the full experience?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like, okay, I feel like, okay, so there's like some dancey tracks in there, like just to dance. So I feel like you want to be somewhere where you can like move your body, or even I love driving. I love a good car listen, blasting music. Like, you know, if you're going on a pretty road trip, something like where you can clock into the lyrics as well, and also have a car boogie. Like, that's always a good one.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I'm a public transport baddie, so I'm always just like, you can focus entirely on the music. You don't need to be worrying about what's happening on the road or out there. You're just like in it. I love doing that.
Oh yeah, you can also dance on public transport.
Yeah.
Why not?
And you can get fully into it. Like make everyone else be like, what are they listening to? Like I need to know what's eliciting that reaction.
Exactly.
But yeah, these 6 tracks they're insane. Like I have been listening on repeat. But these songs haven't just like come out of yourself recently. These aren't just like brand new tracks you've just penned and gone, right, here's the EP. You've worked on this for a while and you've sat with this. You've kind of just like, you know, let it rattle around within yourself before you've shared it all with us. And before we've gotten to the point we are now, where anyone can go on their streaming services, give a listen in their own ways. What was the journey like to get to this point with Soft Like Fire?
It was a long journey. Yeah, it was a long journey, but it was a beautiful journey. I feel like before I started this project, I was, you know, feeling a little bit burnt out from music in a way where I was feeling like misaligned, like I wasn't backing what I was doing. I was starting to not love it, which is crazy because music is my greatest love in this whole world. So I had taken a step back, and you know, it was very intentional for me working on this project to like love it and make it, you know, the journey was like the important of it. Yeah, so like most of these songs started like here in my room. You know, I started a lot of the production myself, which I'm still new to music production, but it was really epic, like being able to have the songs fully come from me, like, you know, for the lyrics to the musical elements to like start that, because that was really important to me. I'm like, I need these songs to feel like me, like I need to feel connected to it, you know. And then, you know, along the way I was able to bring on like different collaborators. So I worked really closely with Soli on the production of most of these tracks, and then was able to get, you know, some amazing musicians and songwriters, all artists that I really love and respect, and, you know, get these tracks sounding the way that they are, and then even building the visual world of the songs. That's always one, you know, one of my favorite parts of making music, is being able to, you know, there's only so much you can say in 3 minutes, but being able to then build onto the story and build a visual world around it. But yeah, I feel like it's been a very intentional journey, lots of care and lots of collaborating with artists and creatives that like I really love and respect. So, you know, the project is what it is, but also like I feel like the journey for me as an artist was like really important as well.
Yeah. When you were like talking about the EP, like on your social media and stuff, you said something that I immediately had to like pull out my little notebook and I had to write it down. I'm like, I love this. the thing is not the art. The creation of the thing is art. And I was just like, yeah, we get so swept up in like the end products. Like, oh, like this is what I'm posting online, or this is what I'm sending out to be released. And it's like, that's not everything. Like, that isn't what we should be talking about here, because you pour so much of yourself into this. And I'm like, I need to take that with me. So I literally have that written in a notebook somewhere.
It's yeah, no, I think it's so important to, you know, in this crazy world we live in this fast world, everything's about, you know, the product, selling the product, whatever. But I think, you know, it is an act of resistance to focus on the creation and slow down. And I must say, I can't take credit for that quote, that concept. I think Erica Badu, said something. I couldn't find her actual quote, but something similar where that message really stuck with me. Like, yeah, it's, you know, that process is the art. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like that's also such an important thing to be highlighting, especially just like in this modern, like chronically online world. I can't remember who it was, but I had this really great conversation with someone about how like everything has to be so shiny nowadays and so like polished and like ready to show 1,000 million people online forever. And it's kind of just like, let's just be creative. Let's tell our stories. Let's tap into that like sense within ourselves without making it shiny. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect to share. And I feel like that's all a really important sentiment that just gets lost nowadays. Everyone is an influencer and everyone is like doing all these big things. We don't all have to do that. We can just be creative in our own rights. And that's something you've really highlighted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think to maintain like integrity of art, like that's, yeah, no, it's important that we, you know, are being authentic. And yeah,
absolutely. And authenticity is a really big thing, especially with this debut EP. Like, it always sounds like there's so much pressure put on this, and because it's like, this is how you're introducing yourself to the world with like this body of work. But you've really been so authentic with this body of work. I love your sonic atmosphere you've put through on this, because you're really honoring your South African roots through this. You've got like the R&B, you've got this sound that you describe as cross-continental, which I love. I'm not sure like if you've coined that or if that's an actual musical term, but I love that so much.
I don't think I can take credit for that.
No, but I feel like that's something that, especially with recent events in the Australian music scene, we're not actually seeing this type of music represented well in Australia, because we have this sort of like hegemonic idea that Australian music is like rock or like indie, like surf music, and it's all white men in a band. And that's been my like number one anti from the day dot, where I'm like, I want to start doing stuff to support Australian music, not that though. So I love like music like yours platformed. You're in like 2 seasons of Heartbreak High, which is like one of the biggest shows that's come out of Australia in the past decade. You're out here at showcase performances. You're sharing your South African roots through your music to a broader audience that might honestly think of Australian music to be the white for young indie male band type thing. How important is it to you to be standing up and sharing your music and your authentic stories with such a broad audience that may have not been introduced to South African music before, or to these sorts of stories in a mainstream platform?
It's so important. And yeah, I think with music I've like grappled with my why a lot. Like, why do I feel called to do this? Why the hell am I doing this crazy thing? But I think that, you know, what you said, like storytelling is so important. And the fact is, we do live here. Like, I was born here. Like, you know, I have roots elsewhere, but like, you know, being Australian is like a big part of my mix up of cultures now. And I think just the importance of storytelling is the truth. It's literally just telling the truth. Like, I'm here, this is who I am. And the thing is, with, you know, all artists, we all have a unique story to tell. and you know, being able to like carry your whatever, like your history, like your story, your authentic experience, like, but do it like in your way. Like I feel like that's so important. And also that we have a lot of us doing that, like a lot of people who look like me doing that, because we're all different. Like, you know, we all, you know, we might be from similar places, but we are all different. We all have a different story to tell. And I think that's often what maybe gets lost in Australia, is that like, first, I mean, I think there's not, kind of like you described, there's not like a big, there's not a wide, broad understanding of like, you know, like Afrobeats music, R&B music, soul music, black music, in the mainstream. But there is so many of us doing it, and we're all doing it in a different way, and it's all like, yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling. Yeah, I think it's so important that we all, you know, are able to share and like, yeah, make sure that, you know, our counterparts who maybe are not understanding of the genre, you know, can understand, like, you know, black music and what it is and where it comes from, and learn to appreciate that. Because yeah, I think in Australia, we're quite far behind with that. I don't know if that answered your question at all, but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, because I think it's so important. Like, recently there's been so many conversations coming up out of the tone deaf like aversion, to put it in nice words. And so many people are like, oh, but like, we don't really have R&B music in Australia, or we don't really have a lot of like black artists and like POC artists in the forefront. And I'm like, where are you coming from with this statement? I'm like, we have so many black artists and so many artists of color that are making such amazing music. It just might not be in that mainstream spot just yet, which is a whole other fault of like the industry and the consumers at their own part. But it's like, we have so many talented people in this industry. They're just not seen in the mainstream all the time. It hurts.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Like, there's so much talent here, but we're still growing the appreciation and like the opportunities for us. I feel like often when I feel like there's still like maybe Aussies for the most part are not fully attuned to R&B and like black music, and often look to like overseas for references of that. But the truth is, we have a lot growing here, and I think you're so right. I think a lot of people in our industry here don't have a deep understanding of the culture of that music history, and so don't have knowledge about it, so don't know how to curate it, don't know how to hear what's good, and like maybe what is not there yet. Like, there's really like there is a big disconnect, but we do have so much talent, that's undeniable. So I look forward to that just continuing to grow, and everyone's gonna have to get with the program.
Exactly. If you're sitting here being like, oh yeah, like I'm not listening to any R&B from Australia, I'm not listening to any of this, that's your fault. Like, you are the problem in that situation, no one else is.
Yeah, and I think with the whole like version of it all, I think it speaks volume that band was able to say that with such confidence, like that everyone is gonna feel how I feel about this being bad. I think that speaks to the sort of echo chamber that a lot of people are existing in, but it's just not the truth. And I think we all have a responsibility to venture outside of our little comfort bubble. We love comfort bubbles in Australia, we love it, but if we want to be a place that is like on the the level of the global stage of art and music, then we have to be willing to be open to different sounds, and we also have to learn history. And by the way, rock music is Black music. Like, learn that history, understand where the genre that you now profit from, like, understand where that comes from. Like, anyways, I'm on my soapbox now.
No, but that's so valid. Like, this is exactly what I'm studying at university. Since colonization, and all records of like Australian media from colonization have been trapped in such an echo chamber, or like representation is tokenized. And it's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we will make sure we do have like a Black artist at this festival. They're the one Black artist at the festival. And it's like, you're not actually like doing much by putting, oh, echo chambers in Australia are such a thing that underpins our culture, and it is evil. It is just putting us at such like a low point, as you said, on the global stage, because we do have the music. We can be known as like one of the biggest musical like destinations in the world, if that's the right way to put it. But not if people aren't opening their eyes and aren't embracing the music we actually have here. So I'm fully, everything you're saying, I'm like, I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, no, seriously. I think that like music and art is so important, and I have this belief that like society and a culture is only as healthy as it's like arts, and how it appreciates its art, its culture. I just, for me, it's so important. It just underpins like the fabric of the society. And we do have so much culture here, and I just don't think we represent that in a truthful way. I mean, we don't even tell the truth of our history. So yes, there's a lot for Australia to grow.
Yes, no, absolutely. Oh, as I said, we could spend so much time talking about this because we've barely touched the surface of how much is going on. I'd love to ask, with the release of Soft Like Fire, how can we best support you? Whether it's fans who have just come across the EP, who have been with you for years, loving your music, how can we best get this love to you?
Yes, keep listening, keep sharing. I love hearing bits of feedback of like what the project meant for you. So hit me up, message me. I'm on social media, and I'm submitted to the social media of it all. So you can follow me on my socials, which I'm sure Charlie will tag.
Yes. In the little YouTube caption here, get in there.
Yes. But yes, come to my shows. I'm a passionate performer. I love it. It's nothing like being on stage. I love sharing that energy with people. And stay tuned for more music. Now that Soft Like Fire is out, I can make space for myself to write new music and start a new journey. So yes, please join me on that journey.
Yes. Oh, you can't say that to me now. We've just got the EP out. I'm going to be like, okay, there's going to be something more coming. There's something else coming. We've got to stay tuned. Yes. Oh, I love it. And I'd love to ask you one final question to close up our little chat today. It is my favorite question to ask because as soon as I get your responses, I'm logging into Tidal and I'm updating my playlists. I want to know which local acts, whether in your like local music scene or across the broader country, you have been listening to and are loving at the
moment. Okay, I'll have to say my brother Soli just released a new song with Church, which is fire. And also Agnieszka, Voice of an Angel, such beautiful music. That's top of mind at the moment.
Okay, love. I again love this question because I'm going to go and give a listen. So thank you for those recs.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you so much for making the time to chat about Soft Like Fire because I can't wait to give like a proper immersive lesson because it has been in my head so much when I'm listening and studying. So I'm so excited to like leave the studying phase of my life and probably get immersed in this EP. I love it though. Thank you so much for releasing it and like sharing it with us, but also for making the time to chat.
Thank you so much, Charlie. It was great chatting with you as well.